certainly seeing some inspirational stories from our local community is going to help in our schools as we continue to address mental health awareness in the month of May.
Yes, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we have the proper guest coming on the Splash Live to tell us a little bit more about mental health, specifically in the schools locally with our students. We have school social worker at Scotch Elementary School, Claudia Rodgers, join us here on the Splash Live to tell us a little bit more about mental health awareness in the schools. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello,
I
thank
think
you
you
for
have your
having me.
There we go. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So we have a few things that we kind of want to touch on today, but I want to just start off with you just kind of explaining your role as a social worker, specifically at Scotch Elementary School, and how it impacts the students.
Sure. So I am a social worker at Scotch Elementary School, like you mentioned. I
Mhm.
have a caseload of students that receive special education support. So I work on like teaching coping skills and social skills and those sorts of things with those students via goals. And then I also work with 504 plans, which is a section of general education students that have accommodations to help meet their academic and educational needs. And then I also have the opportunity to support gen ed students at school here, teaching coping skills, helping with behavior planning, supporting teachers in the classroom, those sorts of things.
Good, good, good. So there's a lot of different things going on with your responsibilities, but overall, you are really there to kind of help like balance some things out for these students who may feel like they don't have anyone to talk to. I want to kind of get into that. What strategies do you use to kind of help not only identify but manage some mental health issues that these young students may be experiencing?
So the district does a really good job of utilizing programs like Capturing Kids' Hearts and
Mhm.
Ruler to really instill, establishing relationships early with students. Our teachers, helping facilitate establishing relationships early at the beginning of the school year. But also we utilize Ruler to really help build that emotional intelligence for students so that they
Okay.
know feelings words and they're able to utilize those in their classroom when maybe they're feeling overwhelmed or emotionally flooded. But also, those are supports and strategies that our teachers can use too. So they utilize those strategies to make sure that they're feeling regulated themselves so that they can help teach and co regulate with students that may be dysregulated.
Interesting. See that also makes me think of the fact that yeah, like you just said, there could be some communication disconnects. They may not be able to express exactly what it is, especially at such a young age. I completely get it and understand. Joining us here on the Splash Live right now, school social worker at Scotch Elementary School, Claudia Rodgers, joining us to talk about Mental Health Awareness Month and just her work as a social worker at the elementary school here in West Bloomfield School District. So, can you just talk about the importance of, since we're dealing with young kids, it's important that we have the village involved, right? The teachers, the social worker, the parents, other people
Absolutely.
in the community. Can you just talk about how important that is and how you all try to get that everybody involved to kind of come together for the interest of the child, the children?
Absolutely. So I think one of the really important things to consider is that when we're working with kids, we're working with the whole child, right? So in a
Hmm.
school setting, oftentimes there's a lot of focus on academics and benchmarking and those sorts of things, but we have to remember
Right.
that they're kids first, right? And what's really important is making sure that kids have those basic needs. So sometimes we're often helping with those things, helping students and families making sure that they're secure and they're living in safe environments, and talking with community stakeholders, inclusive of parents and whoever's involved in the child's life. And then also making sure that there's really good communication between the school and the teacher, or the school and the parents, right?
Hmm.
So making sure that, we're following up with positive phone calls is really helpful, not just those negative phone calls, making sure that we're reaching out to parents throughout the school year so that they're not surprised by things, and also encouraging kids to go home from school and share all those positives that they are experiencing in the school setting at home as well.
Hmm. Interesting. Um, Before we kind of move forward, there's a lot of questions I want to ask. We're kind of short on time, but I do want to get to this about you more specifically, I guess. The challenges. that you face as a social worker? What are they? What are you doing to try to overcome them? Like, just can you just talk about it from your perspective, the challenges that you face and how you address them?
I think most consistently I'm seeing like time and capacity, right? There are only 7 hours in our school day. I have a
Right.
very high caseload, right? Meeting lots of students with more significant needs than they have had in the past. So making sure that I have the time and availability and capacity to do that has been a challenge. Luckily, I have a really supportive team here. Our special ed team and our admin team have been really helpful and kind of like game planning and supporting. But I do think that we're seeing more and more students with more significant needs, and having the time and capacity to address those needs has been something
Mhm.
that's been more challenging over the last couple of years.
That's a good point you bring up. Yeah, it's only so many hours that you can do, and it's all these students with versus you, or whatever other team that you have. I'm pretty sure you're outnumbered when it comes to that ratio. So I can only imagine, with the number of students that does want help. Not even to mention if all students, or even half of them want to help, then it would be overwhelming for you. Last thing, since we do have a quick second, what can what can we do at home for our kids to kind of start that? Like, yes, it all kind of starts at home in some sort of way. What can we do here at home for our children to kind of listen more, hear them more, or just kind of be there for our children for their mental health issues?
All those things that you just mentioned, listening more, being there more, are the things that we would
Okay.
like to see at home. Making sure that you're actively listening, looking at the person, looking at your child, and the child looking at you, putting down some of that
Mhm.
screen time and really interfacing with kids is really important.
Boom.
Checking in and making sure that kids are feeling okay, building that effective vocabulary, utilizing those feelings words, talking about emotions, generalizing and operationalizing emotions to make sure that they understand what they mean, and then talk about how emotions are impacting your behavior or may be impacting your social interactions. So all those things are things that help kind of build a foundation for positive interactions and positive social and emotional skills here at school.
Good, good, good. Yeah, it's very, very important that we start there at the root. Before we go to school, we're at home. So,
Mhm.
yeah, let's try to create that great, safe environment for our children. First and foremost, listen to them, hear them, talk to them about their day, that
Absolutely.
type of thing. That's very, and mean it. Be genuine. So I completely get it. And I just want to say, Claudia, trust me, I get it. Our personalities, our ways, our characters start at a young age. Things that create us, make us, mold us can start at those elementary ages. Things that our peers at those, they might not necessarily have, the filter. So they say whatever they want and they can hurt feelings and not realize how damaging that can be. So having resources like yourself for these children, I want to applaud you. I want to thank you again for being here. Mental Health Awareness Month. Claudia Rodgers, do you have any last words before we let you go? Any other important information?
I just always want to reinforce that all types of behavior, all types of emotions is communication of something. So just make sure that
Correct.
you're always listening.
Absolutely. Claudia Rodgers, school social worker for Scotch Elementary in West Bloomfield School District. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a great day.